Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So Nico Ali-Walsh, this guy is really becoming the king of the 4-rounders, isn't he? You put him in the ring with somebody, within 4 rounds, he's going to get you out of there. And he's looking to create his own legacy. And right now it looks like he may be on the way to something promising, right? But that's easier said than done. Easier said than done. You know, we just take a look at Nico Ali-Walsh. He's 22 years old. So he hasn't developed his man strength. His brain, as far as the development and being able to really comprehend and understand and process things, is just now probably fully developed, right? So he's just now really getting to that point where the brain is still fully developed. He's now getting to that point where he's going to start to develop his man strength. If he stays in the gym and keeps making the type of progress that he's making, you know, he may really be on the way to creating his own legacy. Now, I'm not at all saying this man is going to outdo what his grandfather did. I think the things Ali did in the ring has a lot to do with his legacy, but it's what he did outside the ring. I'm talking about his grandfather now. So he could never meet or exceed that, in my opinion, because this is 2022. The crap that was going on back in the 1960s and 70s, all right, so times have changed. And for anyone saying, oh, nothing's changed, it's not bullshit, it's changed. There's still some cockleholes out there that have their own problems, but times have changed. You gotta look at what Muhammad Ali was standing for back then, you know, and what he represented all the way up until his death. Okay, to try to pigeonhole his grandson and saying, oh, he can never be like his grandfather. No, nobody can. It's not just him. Okay, none of these guys are. All right, so get out of here. The only person that I would say who kind of maybe was on that trajectory and still kind of is on that trajectory, although he's retired, is Pacquiao. You know, there's things going on like the Richard Comeys and those guys who do a lot for their country, a lot for their people, okay? But Muhammad Ali was for everyone, for the world, okay? But I'm not here to get into that. I just want to be crystal clear for those sourpusses out there that are trying to throw shade on this young man, okay? That's not fair. So let's set that aside. He'll never be his grandfather. All right? It is what it is. But he's shown some promise. But he's at a point now where get beyond the 4 rounds. Okay? And this is the perfect time for him to move beyond the 4 rounds. You take a look at him and see that he's had 6 fights. 5 of those fights ended by knockout. He knocked 5 of those guys out. And there was 1 fight that went where he won a majority decision. Okay? Now, that fight in particular, he fought that fight last year, December. And he came back. And then he avenged that loss. And that's what you want to see. As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, August 20th, he avenged that loss and knocked the guy out in the 2nd round with a body shot. So if you look at the fact that he's had 6 fights, right? In his first fight, TKO in the 1st round. 2nd fight, TKO in the 3rd round. 3rd fight, that was at majority decision. 4th fight, TKO in the 2nd round. 5th fight, TKO in the 1st round. 6th fight, TKO in the 2nd round. Okay? It's time for him to make that move. So you got to take a look at him, okay? He's running around here. This guy standing 6 feet tall. He's a big boy. Okay? It's not really going to be easy for him to find an opponent. Let me see something real quick about him. He got 83% knockout rate, man. But it's not going to be easy for them to find him an opponent because some of the guys who are trying to get after him because of his name, they have a lot of experience, so they got to guide his career very carefully. And one thing I think with Bob Arum, I think Bob Arum is really has his best interests in mind. And his Ali's granddaughter, who's Nico Ali-Walsh's mother, she said the only person she would trust with her son in boxing is Bob Arum. Bob Arum, because of how highly Muhammad Ali spoke of him. So it's time for him to step up. And his weight division, he's going to have to be very careful, moving too fast. What you don't want to see with a guy like Ali-Walsh, there was a guy back in the day, man. He came out, he had I think he was an Olympian, he was in the Olympics and stuff. Francisco Bajado. And I remember watching him fight early in his career. He was a monster, man. But they moved him too fast. And his career just got ate up. So now he's a permanent sparring partner for a lot of these up and comers, or a lot of these guys who are elite. That's what he does. That's how he makes money. You look at Fernando Vargas, was a beast. He did very well, but his career was short-lived because he kind of got through it a little too early with some monsters. The De La Hoya, the Felix Trinidad's, and he held his own. But he took a little bit of damage. Okay, took a little bit of damage. So you don't want to see that happen with him. But at some point, you gotta figure out that Ali-Walsh is gonna have to get in there and start doing. His next fight should be a 6-rounder, and maybe a couple 6-rounders and an 8-rounder. By his 10th fight, he should be doing 8-rounders. He should be doing 8-rounders by his 10th fight. But I'm not sure what the plan is for him. He's 22 years old. He recently graduated from I think it was UNLV he was going to, with a bachelor's degree in business. And the sky's the limit for him. He's got the name. He can fight. He gets better with every fight. But as we all know, as he's moving up in class, competition's going to get stiffer. Now, I watched him fight. He has heavy feet. His grandfather float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Ali-Walsh isn't like that. He's more coming forward, flat-footed, a Turagati style, stand in front and let his hands go. But he has skill. But they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do for him, because the challenge for him to create his own legacy, it's a huge feat for this man to take on. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that, man. I'm just not sure. It's going to be hard. One thing about him, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of people who think that Nico Ali-Walsh just recently turned to boxing. No, he's been boxing as an amateur for a long time. Matter of fact, there was a time where he felt like giving up on it. And, he talked to his grandfather, Muhammad Ali, and he convinced him to stick with it and not to give up on boxing, and said it's going to be hard. He said, and Muhammad Ali told him what he hated the most about boxing was training. And Ali-Walsh said that he didn't understand what his grandfather meant by that. He said early in his career, he said he never understood it. He said it wasn't until he had to start, prepare for the rematch for this guy he just fought. He's like, now he gets it. He's like, because it's not fun. It's hard work. But, his grandfather told him, put in the work now, suffer now, so you can live like a champion later. Become a champion and live like a champion later. And that resonates with me as well. And when I read that, it kind of told me, man, you know what? Not for me to go get back in no damn ring, but just like, you know what, man, keep doing your little YouTube thing with your channel, but make sure my little guy, I got my youngest is in pre-K, right? But he's looking like he's going to be okay. But not that little guy like he's going to be all right. It's time for me to find something else to do, during the day from home, because you can't get time back, and just reading articles on this guy, Ali-Walsh, when he talks about the things that his grandfather, Muhammad Ali, shared with him, man, it's like you read that, man, and I'm getting inspired. It's like some of that stuff hits home with me, and it's like, damn, feel like a man's talking to me through Ali-Walsh. But I just think he needs to stick with the sweet science. I think he has a bright future in boxing. He's committed, and he has. They say the person with the strongest shoulders carries the heaviest weight on their back, and he has a heavy weight on his shoulders, on his back, man. with that Ali, that hyphenated Ali-Walsh name. And he seems to assume that responsibility, and he assumes it with he assumes it with a lot of honor and pride. And it looks like when it comes to any questions about him, and he knows his grandfather's name is always going to be associated somehow in the be integrated in the conversation, and he's okay with that. But it looks like he's ready to try to go on and take it to the next level. But what I don't want to see happen with him, because he mentioned something in an article about him being 22 years old and a college student and having a lot of young people his age who share similar interests coming out to support him, as well as catching some of his grandfather's supporters. So he said he's developing a very large fan base. But what got my attention is, okay, you got some old heads out here, 50 to 80 that are supporting you because of Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the younger generation are going to support you because of Muhammad Ali. But there's that other part of the generation who don't know a damn thing about boxing and Muhammad Ali. They're just supporting you because you're a young 22-year-old. That generation also supporting Jake Dan Paul. So what I don't want to see happen is Ali-Walsh go out here and fight Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? I think Jake Paul will be very disrespectful towards Muhammad Ali. And because Jake Paul is all about, views, subscribers, shock value, entertainment, and I think he would say some stuff, man, that probably make me go and hunt his ass down. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to see that. And I definitely don't want to see Ali-Walsh getting there, trying to bang with Jake Paul, and somehow Jake Paul hit him with the freeze ray right hand, despicable meme, and Ali-Walsh is there with his, face down, butt up in the ring, looking crazy. So I just think he needs to appreciate having a young fan base, but handle himself like a more mature, experienced boxer. Because although he's 22, he has the mentality of, I would say, like a 74-year-old, which is how old Muhammad Ali was when he passed, because of the years and years of conversations and wisdom that was imparted to him. So, yeah, he's 22, but he doesn't have the mind of a 22-year-old, because look who he had kind of mentoring him and guiding him and encouraging him. You know what I'm saying? He had the greatest of all time. So we'll see. But he accepts and embraces all challenges, and he even has a tattoo of his father on his arm. But he's gonna have to step it up. He's gonna have to step it up, man, because these 4-round fights, okay, we got it. You got some talent, some skill. It's time for you to, get on out there now, cut your teeth on some real fights. That's what he needs to be doing now. So we'll see what they have planned for him in his next fight, man. And we'll see where he goes from there. But right now, he's the king of the 4-rounders. Nobody clipping people in 4 rounds like he's doing in an impressive fashion. So more to come on Ali-Walsh. Muhammad Ali, grandson, is out here doing it, man. But he says he's trying to do what his grandfather told him, which is just, suffer right now to live as a champion. So we'll see if he'll be able to do that. That being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please leave comments. I look forward to reading whatever you guys post. Y'all stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, I'm in the breeze.